Good day. My name is Oyedele Adewale Olamide, aka Freaky Fresh. I still remain the contemporary griot. I'm representing the contemporary griot because African has neglected their culture, custom, and tradition. There is no longer oral rendition of poetry. But I came up with this topic: spoken poetry, an African way. Or let me call it spoken word and African poetry. From the Anthology of Thoughts, I'm discussing the fourth poetry from that anthology, titled Love at War. In this poetry, you need to listen. You will understand the poetry that there is what? A connection, a tripartite connection between religions. Now, the topic I said is love at war. I read. It wasn't planned, this meeting, this fate. I stepped out that day. Hunger gilded my gate. Just to buy food. Just a simple errand. Until the air shattered guns and arrows. Fears and errands. Smoke rose high. Powder filled the sky. I ran for cover, with no time to question why. A river nearby. A tree in its shade. I hid there, trembling, in a silent parade. Tears glowed at my throat. I stepped onto the street, wrapped in my hijab, quiet, discreet. But then a bullet, a stray, unforgiving. It pierced my stomach, left me barely living. I woke weeks later in a place unknown, beside a man with care he had shown, a Christian stranger with herbs and care, tending my wound as if I belonged there. He spoke of the river where I would have nearly died. How he found me drifting, caught in the tide. A fisherman's hands pulled me to shore. He saved a life, not asking for more. He didn't care what fate I wore. He saw a soul bleeding at war, and that was the start of our story thread. As feeling grew, I lay in his bed. 9 months later, a child was born, a symbol of love through chows and scorn. We named him Love at War, a truth to tell of a bond that rose where conflict fell. Now, I'm going to discuss the theme of the poem. Firstly, love amidst chows. The poem explores how love can blossom in the midst of violence and destructive and symbolizing hope and humanity. Now we could see what love has done during chaos. Another is war and its consequences. It highlights the devastating impact of war, including physical injury and societal division. What war has caused? Another is faith and unity. The relationship between a Christian man and a Muslim woman trends religious boundaries, showcasing the power of love and compassion over prejudice. Survival and resilience. The protagonist's journey from near death to the motherhood demonstrates human strength and the will to survive. Symbolism of new beginnings. The birth of the child represents reconciliation, unity, and possibility of renewal even in dark times. Now let's look at the literary techniques in the poem. Firstly, we have some literary techniques that has been used to create some effect in the poetry. Firstly, we have imagery. Imagery from the poem, there's vivid descriptions such as smoke rose high, powder filled the sky, and a bullet, a stray, unforgiving, bring tales of war to life. Another is alliteration. Phrases like guns, arrows, fears, and errands emphasize the harshness of conflict in the Love at War, the poem. Symbolism. The child, named Love at War, symbolizes unity and hope amidst division and strife. Yes, the child brings love, love at war. Fourth, we have contrast. The juxtaposition of war and love underscore the poem's central message. Love can arise even in the highest conditions. Now we could see from that poem that love arose from the highest what? From the highest condition of war. Love arose amidst what? A Christian and a Muslim. Narrative structure. The poem unfolds as a story using a chronological sequence to take the reader from conflict to revolution. Looking at the narrative structure of that poetry, structurally, we could see the connection from the beginning to the end. That love could come at war. We have tone. The tone I used, the tone shift from despair during the war to hope and healing as the relationship develops. We could see that as the relationship develops, she lays in the man's bed. And what came up? Love came up, unity came up, and love came up at war. Type of poetry. This is a narrative poem as it tells a story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. The poem combines elements of tragedy and romance, using vivid storytelling to convey its theme. Now, the type of poetry, it could be called what? A narrative poetry, because it is narrating an incident that has happened in a poetic form, and we could deduce that what? The beginning is there, the middle is there, and the end is there. That's what makes it what? A narrative what? Poem. The next is the background of the poem. The poem appears to be set in a war-torn region where religious or cultural conflicts are what? Prominent. It reflects the universal human experience of suffering, compassion, and love. The relationship between the two protagonists descends their religion and cultural differences, symbolizing this possibility of harmony in divided society. The poem could also reflect the poet's desire to address the theme of reconciliation and the triumph of what? Humanity over division. Now, we have the subject matter. The subject matter is the final note, and I have to discuss it holistically. Now, the subject matter focuses on a chance encounter between two individuals, one Muslim and the other Christian, brought together by war. The poem narrates their journey from survivor to war, ultimately culminating in the birth of their child, who symbolizes hope, unity, and triumph of love over what? Hate. It showcases how humanity can prevail even in the darkest circumstances. Now, as I've said earlier, we always need to what? To discuss this poetry together, because this is an oral rendition. You can ask questions, you can comment from your own observation, you can also bring your own different theme, you can bring your own different subject matter, you can bring your own different poetic device, and what? You can also criticize the poetry. You can bring your view, you can comment below, and let's know your own view. Maybe you have another type of poetry that this poem or poetry could be called, and the background of the poem too that I've discussed. You can also talk about that. Now, as I said again, my name still remains Oyedele Adewale Olamide, aka Freaky Fresh. Like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you once more, as I will be discussing the next poetry by next time. Thank you for watching this video.